Hi guys! So at the moment my inbox is floating with questions about buying a pole dance.
A pole dancing pole for home.
And back when I had to buy my first pole for my home, I had a billion questions. So I have gathered my best recommendations and what you need to think about in this video to buy your first pole dancing pole for home. The first thing you want to think about when buying a pole dancing pole for home is the material you want your pole in. There is 4 main materials as far as I know. We have chrome, we have stainless steel, brass and powder coated. My recommendation is always stainless steel. I had a lot of students dealing with allergies and it's just better to be safe than sorry. With the stainless steel you're gonna avoid allergic reactions. However, stainless steel is a little bit more slippery, so you need to be a little bit more patient with the stainless steel in order to get strong enough. If you have no patience, however, with the grip, I would recommend a chrome pole. If you are in a little bit of a warmer climate, I heard that brass poles are better. Well, I'm in Denmark where it's
pretty fucking cold most of the year,
so wouldn't know. But I heard brass poles are better for a warmer climate, like Australia, for example. Last material is
powder coated pole.
and I would just never ever recommend that. To me, it is horrible. It will rip my skin apart. It will be so painful in my thighs and in my body, and at the same time, my hands will not be able to stick. So for me,
Powder, it's also hard to say, so just don't get it.
it just does not work. For me at least.
now let's talk about the size.
Okay, that was cringe. However, the size of the pole can be very different. Normally it will go, or at least for the brands I'm gonna recommend you later in this video, the sizes are 38, 40, 42, 45 millimeters. And then I will also talk shortly about the 50 millimeter. So it's very different what you prefer. However, I always recommend people to buy a 45. 45 is the competition standard. So if you at some point want to go to competition, it's just really nice to being used to 45s. Back when I started pole dancing, I didn't know I wanted to compete. I actually thought that would never ever happen. However, I'm so happy that I had tried to pole on the 45 before starting my competition training. So 45, always my recommendation. However, if you just looking for a pole to have a little bit fun with at home, then you have to look at your own body, sizing of your proportions and your wishes. So 45 and 50s are gonna make you stronger hand grip. They're a little bit harder to pull on, especially for beginners, because you need a better grip in order to stay on the pole. However, if you have very tiny thighs and like a thigh gap, it might be nicer for you with a thicker pole, so like 45 or 50. If you are small, petite, small hands, or just want to have fun at home, I would go for the smaller ones, so the 42, 40 or 38. So just to sum up real quick, if you're small hands and just looking for some fun at home, buy a smaller diameter pole. If you want to be more competitive and stronger, you want to go bigger, 45 or 50. You have to figure out your ceiling height. So from the floor to the ceiling, how long you want your pole to be. The beautiful thing about like proper professional home poles is that they're fit into pieces. You can see here that it has like, it's fit together in pieces. When I bought a pole, I just told them like, I don't know my ceiling height, just give me all of the sizings for the pole. It was a little bit more expensive, but then I could just like at home figure out which part to put together because they're different lengths. The good thing is that when you put it together, then you're gonna like screw it, so it will like go into a friction with the ceiling. So it's not because it has to fit exactly proper, it actually go into like a friction between floor and ceiling, which also means you don't have to bolt it in the floor or the ceiling. One thing that I want you to think about is where to place the pole. Because first of all, in order to set it up, you want to make sure to place it either under a beam or making sure that you have some kind of stability under the cup of the pole. The cup is the top, to stabilize it. For my room, I had to stabilize it like this. The reason I choose to stabilize it with the wooden, I have no clue what that is called, but the wood in the top is because it would spread the pressure of the pole, which will make sure that my ceiling is not cracking anywhere. I did it in one place I lived without the wood, and I actually had my ceiling crack, and it was kind of expensive to fix when I moved. So if you're not placing the pole under a beam, then make sure that you spread it by the wood. So I'm making sure the wood is on a beam somewhere. This is a little bit technical, I hope it makes sense. Just buy a piece of wood and you're gonna be safe and not sorry. Last part of the setup. What I like with my pole is that I can walk around it with straight arms.
Like this without hitting anything.
Because then I'm sure that I'm not gonna like kick on. I'm never sure because my legs are obviously gonna be longer. But I'm kind of sure that I'm not gonna like break my toe on the ceiling. If you're a beginner, you might not need as much space because you're not gonna do anything
Crazy. Wow.
You're more gonna be doing like stuff close to the pole. So I have friends who have like just like this kind of distance and just to do like small cute stuff and tricks on the pole. So it is a possibility as well. The last thing you need to think about is the brand and the model of the pole you're gonna buy. First of all, always choose a pro model that can both do spin and static. It is a waste to be a cheap ass and buy a pole that can only do static, because at some point you're gonna wanna do some spin pole. And then you have to buy a new pole and it's just a waste of money in the end. And the poles are really slippery in the beginning when you get them. So having one pole that you spend a lot of time making, like getting this really good grip, and then you have to buy a new one that's gonna be slippery, it's just a waste, honestly. So buy a pro model from the beginning, always. I have two brands that I prefer. There are other awesome brands out there, but these are the two that I like better. So I like Expert and I like Loop It. I like Expert because it has a really, like the Expert Pro, the model, has a really good locking system that you can just like touch in the button of the pole and click and it goes in spin, and then you can go the other way and it goes off spin. So it's really smart the way it does with the spin function. I also feel like if you buy a chrome pole from X-Pole, it has a really awesome grip, but as I said, I have stainless steel, so for me, same, but if you're buying chrome, and I feel like the sizing is really easy to fit together with the X-Pole. Then there's Loop It. For me, Loop It is, I don't know if it's the better choice, but I feel like for stainless steel at least, it has a better grip with the Loop It pole. The spin function is a little bit more annoying because you have to like put it
In a screwy thingy and unlock it and lock it again.
It has its pros and cons. If you have to do it with the key that unlocks it, it's gonna stay there and you're gonna make sure that it's always on spin or static, whatever you want. With the X-Pad system, with the clicking, it might happen that when you're on the pole, you flick it not on purpose and then you go on spin suddenly without meaning to. So it's depending on your laziness and your ability to control the lower part of the pole. So it's really the two brands, and to be honest, if I was going to like point and tell you like which is better than the other, I couldn't really say because I can see pros and cons with both poles. So you will have to see which one lives up to the recommendation I have given you and what you wish from your pole. I have put the links to X-Pole and to Loop It down in my text in case you want to follow my recommendations. If you have any awesome brands I need to hear about and I need to check out, please write them in the comments. And if you have any questions in regards to any of all of this
blah 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 blah
I have been talking about, let me know, and I will try to sort it out for you. Have an awesome day, you guys.